All right, folks, I'm back. I'm your host, BKP. It's 8:31 in the morning, and we are now a little more organized than when we started out this morning because, we had a couple frustrations, much like the president, but we're very happy here. Show us the way you can get in touch with this show. It's right there. That's our phone number, 706-889-9700. Also, there's the email address, social media way to follow the show. Now, come back to me. I don't know the American people, because every time we turn around, the media wants to speak for the American people, and these half-wit congressmen want to speak for the American people. There's certain things they continue to say: collusion, obstruction. Impeachment has made it in. So what they did this weekend, I watched all the shows. Now, one, I'm going to be straight up. I did not read the 450-page report. I had some things to do Friday, Saturday. I guess some things to do again. Yesterday, some things to do. Just really didn't want to sink my teeth into the 450-page reports. I just read articles, and then I read certain sections of the report of interest. Now, first of all, I want to say this, okay? The media. Let's go with this, all right? The media, the elite media, as they think they are, don't want to say certain words. They don't. All right. Now, let's go to 23. All right. Now, Nadler, the bullfrog, plans, and he is, let's keep in mind, you want to stay focused on, now you do want to stay focused on Elijah Cumming. You do want to stay focused on the pencil neck geek Adam Schiff. But as I said earlier, you're going to have to out there educate yourself with the facts. So the bullfrog, Jerry Nadler, which we'll show you in a minute, he is the chairman of the House Judicial Committee. Now, the House Judicial Committee is who would start impeachment hearings. So they would be hearings, impeachment hearings. And what would happen is, just like, how does this happen? I will tell you how it happens. The House Judiciary Committee would start impeachment hearings. And they would do weeks on top of weeks of impeachment hearings. Okay? And after they do this, they'll take a vote. Just like the Senate approving, Kavanaugh. They have a judicial committee. All right? The Senate has a judicial committee, and they vote to send it to the floor for a vote. So Jerry Nadler, the chairman of the House Judicial Committee, is where impeachment starts and goes through. Now, let me also say this. I watched Chuck Todd and Jerry Nadler's interview, and it's very important that you watch Jerry Nadler's interview, okay? Because Nadler's interview, he takes issue with being told, well, Nancy Pelosi, has she told you to do that yet? Well, she's important, but I'm the chair of judiciary. What do you mean, am I waiting to hear from Nancy Pelosi? No, I'm not. It's very important you watch his interview, because the bullfrog said, yes, these are impeachable offenses. All right, that's number one. Number two, they're going to have a cattle call at 5, all right? As you can see on the screen, they want Nadler plans to call McGhan to testify. All right, let me get this, all right? And then number 22. Politico, Dems working with DOJ to set up Mueller testimony. Now, Bob Barr said, I don't care if he goes and talks to you, right? Remember Thursday? how come Mueller's not here today? Well, he had an appointment. He had to go see his podiatrist. That's what he said. I don't know. I can't, I'm Bob Barr. I don't give a damn about you people. If you're not picking up, I don't give a damn about you people. I love the way he doesn't give a damn about him, okay? I got to give it to him, So they have to actually request from the Department of Justice, because this is where you got to understand that the Department of Justice is who had all the purse strings and who Mueller reports to. So if the Department of Justice releases him, he may be testimony for Jerry Nadler also. So Nadler's looking at getting who? Don McGhan and Mueller, right? What happens next? Well, Don McGhan and Mueller go up there to testify before the Judiciary Committee, while Nadler will come away, well, what we have learned just leaves us no choice. I mean, we have no choice but to proceed with at least the hearings. At least the hearings. If you'll notice, every time they talk to them, go back 6 months ago. Go back before November, okay? Impeachment over here. Somebody would throw out impeachment, all right? And then somebody over here would say, well, now that's something. We're going to have to see developments. We're going to have to see things that really say, we can't do it until the Republicans get on board. And how do they get the Republicans on board? We can't do it till the Republicans get on board, and Republicans are not going to get on board until they see the president's polling numbers in the low 30s, and that's when they're going to jump ship. I got a reason, because of all days today, right? We're going to have that in just a minute. So everything, if you'll pay attention, even up to the report, they were never interested in the report being accurate. No. Because they know all along that Robert Mueller was creating something. They've known from day one that Mueller had the laboratory, and he was mixing everything he could to create a report out of thin air. See, they've known that all along. They knew from day one that Mueller was not going to find collusion with Russia. They knew that. But through his investigation, he would develop obstruction. That's right. They knew that all along. That's why before the election, impeachment. During the time of the election, impeachment. And but they have the one that comes to the camera and says, we've got to look at impeachment. It has to be on the table. It has to be something we think about. It's got to be something we consider. And then they rush 3 in right behind and say, no. We cannot do that. We need to stay focused on kitchen table issues. We need to stay focused on beating the president the real way at the ballot box. So they have this group go in and then this group go in. Now, after Mueller, the report, and all of the obstruction they claim they found, okay, once they can get McGhan in there and get Mueller in there, live on TV, then they'll have no choice. I mean, Mueller and McGhan will leave them, these will be their words, will leave them with no choice. How do you not impeach? How do you not have hearings after this? How do you not? I mean, the American people may hold us responsible for letting this go. The American people may hold us responsible for not acting and playing politics. Just say it. So they want Mueller to testify, right? Now, number 20. Bullfrog there, I'll meet the press, Gerald Nadler. Okay. Obstruction of justice is impeachable. Okay. Obstruction of justice is impeachable. Keep this in mind. I keep saying this. I say it due respect. Be ready to talk about these things to people, all right? Especially independents. If you are, if you're at one of your wine and cheese parties, right? You hit one of your wine and cheese parties, right? Let me just go from there. And somebody walks up to you and says, hey, what do you think about Trump? Okay, this has happened to me. Not at a wine and cheese party. I don't get invited to those damn things. You think they asked me? Hell no. Because they never know what the hell I'll say. So I don't get the invite. But anyhow, it's not that I'm mad or anything. But, so, people ask me, what do you think about this whole Trump thing? I say, I'm not bothered at all. What do you mean? I'm not bothered at all. I'm glad we're finally going to get to the bottom of things. Yeah, I'm kindly troubled. No. I'm not troubled. I'm not troubled. You see, I'm glad that we're now going to turn the tables and the Attorney General is going to find out how this guy took an empty folder from the FBI with no investigation and turned it into something that was never there. Well, I like Trump and everything, and I'm just a little nervous right now because I like Trump. I voted for Trump, but he's got me a little nervous, and this report doesn't look so good. That's the people you want to be ready for. Now, a Democrat wearing genitalia-shaped headgear, the hell with him. Please, if you just like to argue with people, I don't like to argue. I get riled up here, but I don't want to argue. A lady yelled at me, and I could tell you why. A lady yelled at me Thursday night, said some nasty stuff to me, and I just looked at her and said, thank you for your kind words, right? So that's it, and I walked away. I didn't get in a fight. I don't get words. I don't want you to fight with Democrats. You got to be ready. Obstruction of an impeachable justice is impeachable. You got to keep in mind, number one, okay? Now, they're freaking out this morning over Rudy Giuliani saying that it's okay for the Russians to give you information. You can use information from a foreign government. They are going crazy over that, okay? Remember some facts. Fact 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They knew, the FBI knew, that Russia was trying to infiltrate the Trump campaign. The FBI knew a foreign operative was trying to get in the campaign. The FBI knew that Russia was making every attempt to get in this campaign. But they never briefed the campaign. Now remember, right? Remember Lindsey Graham looking at William Barr, and that's why I said the takeaways. We talked about the takeaways that day. When Barr was at the Senate hearing for appropriations, his budget, and Lindsey Graham looked at William Barr and said, would it not be the place of the FBI once they find out that a foreign government was trying to infiltrate their office, their campaign, whatever it may be, for them to go brief the individual, much like they did after 20 years? Much like they did after China stole all of our intellectual property working for Dianne Feinstein. They went and briefed Dianne Feinstein. You need to know this, right? Barr said, absolutely. Wouldn't you tell that to a candidate? Absolutely. Barr said, yeah, absolutely. You go sit down with them. Why was it never done? That's something we got to look into. So they were complicit. The FBI was complicit with doing this, to setting it up. Obama knew. Okay? Obama knew the whole time that Russia was trying to get Trump's campaign to bite the apple. All right? So Mueller says, hey, you know what? They dangled this apple everywhere. They dangled this apple at Trump Tower. They dangled this apple over here. They did everything they could to try to get the Trump campaign to collude with them? Nothing. Nothing, couldn't. Now, sadly, the Democrats are disappointed in that. They're disappointed. Sadly, the Democrats, I don't know, you got to scratch your head, are disappointed that the Attorney General said that the Trump campaign or no American citizen was found to have colluded with Russia to interfere with the election. Right? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So now they start this phony investigation. Now, Trump, they've ruined Michael Flynn's, basically his life. He's broke, General Flynn, an outstanding American. So they give Bob Barr an empty file folder. When? After James Comey was fired. You do know, obviously, in the Mueller report, okay, what Trump said to Comey could have been possibly obstructing, but it could be taken either way. But not that the president fired James Comey. You got to always remember this. And where is the law that he broke? There is no law he broke. He was well within the executive branch powers to relieve Mr. Comey from his office. And at the same time, when a guy is no longer, you don't know what, maybe he's a spy. Maybe he's a spy. Maybe he's a bad guy. Comey's not poor, folks. And they made a big deal that day when he fired Comey, and Comey was somewhere, and Trump says, why is he on the jet back with our agents and our people? No, man, tell him to get first. If he wants to buy first class on a commercial airline and come home, that's up to him. But he can't get back on our jet. He's no longer the FBI director. Here we have all of our computers, all of our stuff there, our secrets, and he's on the plane. He can't have that information. No, they went nuts over that. But anyhow, there's nothing in that report that says what? That there's something wrong with firing Jim Comey. Now they are freaking out because what Mueller did, Mueller should have, if he was patriot, if he's a patriot, if he's not involved with the deep state, as Mark Levin, I think the great one, Mark Levin said, he has written the playbook for impeachment. Yeah, Mueller has written their playbook for impeachment, is what Mark Levin says. Here's the playbook. Here you go. And the obstruction is created. You see, if there's no investigation and there's no special counsel, and don't forget, damn it, there was many Republicans that ran and said, well, since he fired James Comey, and we do know it's legal. We know it was well within his rights. We know he could do it. And even though nothing really happened, we probably should, it probably is time now to bring in the special counsel just to see. So the American people will know once and for all. And then we went through the damn 2 years of let Mueller finish. And the damn people that ran to the microphone, son of a you know what, ran to the microphone for 2 years. Republicans. Bob Mueller's a man of character. Bob Mueller is straight up. Bob Mueller, honesty. Bob Mueller reaches across the aisles of both sides. I mean, he is just a highly respected man in our town. Well, wasn't there a song like that? He's highly respected. Bob Mueller, I mean, you just can't find a better guy down the middle. I mean, they kissed this guy's ass for 2 damn years, okay, of how awesome he is. When really, the patriot, okay, Bob Mueller should have walked in Rosenstein's office in 2 months, 60 days, and say, you got nothing here. The only thing I could do going forward is to create stuff and say, obviously, Rod, you and I both know if I interview 1,000 people, put out 1,000 subpoenas, I'm going to get some, indictments. Not, these people are New Yorkers. I'm just say it. You know, I don't want to go against the Italian community. You know, I'm not saying, you know, the Italian community, I don't want to go against that. All I'm saying is, you know, these people, they've been in business their whole life. They do this, they do that. You know, somebody will say something. I mean, I can get like all kinds of charges. I'm sure of that. And I can get obstruction. And so what do you want me to do here, Rod? I mean, I got nothing. And, you know, we're just going to be obstructing this president's ability to run our country. Where you want to go with this? Keep going, damn it. We have to get this guy removed. Now, Woodward. Remember Nixon? Oh, they love this. There's not enough time in the day, but we're going to go as far as we can with this. Let's pull the video of Bob Woodward yesterday on Fox News.
Yes. More than 2 years ago, back in January of 2017, when the Steele dossier first surfaced, I remember you're saying right here on this show that it is a, quote, garbage document. Do you feel that the Mueller report basically discredited it, and to what degree do you think it played a role in the Russia investigation?
Well, that's what's going to be investigated by lots of people, including the Attorney General and including Senator Lindsey Graham.
And the Inspector General is also doing it.
Yes, and it should be. I mean, what I found out recently, which was really quite surprising, the dossier, which really got a lot of garbage in it, and Mueller found that to be the case. Early in building the intelligence community assessment on Russian interference, in an early draft, they actually put the dossier on page 2 in kind of a breakout box. I think it was the CIA pushing this. Real intelligence experts looked at this and said, no, this is not intelligence, this is garbage, and they took it out. But in this process, the idea that they would include something like that in one of the great stellar intelligence assessments, as Mueller also found out, is highly questionable. Needs to be investigated.
I just want to pick up. We want to ask you for questions for the panel. And on this issue of the Mueller report and the genesis of it, we got this on Twitter from Leo Terry. How quickly do you think Bill Barr will start going after those who weaponize the Department of Justice and FBI against Trump and his campaign? Jillian, how do you answer Leo? And to what degree do you think the whole Russia investigation was, if not
back to me. Okay. Now, the one part I did not play out of the Woodward interview, okay? Woodward, and maybe I can look this up in the break. Bob Woodward said yesterday this was not Watergate, okay? Now, let's keep this in mind. You see, you got pieces of Schiff going on TV, pencil neck Schiff, saying, this is what he says on ABC yesterday. This piece of garbage said what? Far worse than Watergate. See, if you just say something on TV, far worse than Watergate is what Adam Schiff said. But let me tell you what Bob Woodward, now I'm not a Bob Woodward fan, okay? Washington Post. I don't want to go down that road, but you heard what he just said. You do not see that played on anywhere else. Now, if you're watching MSNBC or CNN this morning, they're taking clips of Kellyanne Conway. They're taking clips of Mayor Giuliani. They're taking clips, and they're running those clips because the people on those shows are attacking them. If you watch Kellyanne Conway yesterday, I forget what show she was on, Meet the Press. Well, if you go on Meet the Press with Chuck Todd and Mayor Giuliani, Chuck Todd never lets him finish a sentence. Just attacks him over and over, okay? I think ABC is where... maybe ABC, I'm not for sure where Kellyanne Conway was. But anywhere they were at, they were attacked the whole time. So you can't get it to make sure they can't get sound bites out. That's why Chuck Todd and Martha Radis, and that's why they do that. So you can't get a soundbite out of it, because as soon as Kellyanne Conway starts to explain, boom, 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 they just talk over, because they know what they're doing. They're killing their soundbite, because everybody goes on a show, all right, and they want sound bites to play that they've made on a show. And if it's anything that defends President Trump, they kill the sound bites. They do it on purpose. Now, Woodward got to give his piece about this dossier. You will not see this anywhere else. And Woodward, we will try to find the video when we come back. He tried to speak his piece. He spoke his piece there about the dossier. And let me set up this next one if I can find it. When somebody says this is worse than Watergate, ask them to find the money. All right? Find the money, the cash money in Watergate, okay? There's the tapes. Nixon's worst enemy was himself by wanting to wire the White House. There are the actual tapes, the Nixon tapes, where Nixon is recorded saying, we can get cash. We can get all the cash we need to pay these people off. Okay? There's no cash payoffs. All right? In this. You remember, now Woodward said that was the movie scene, but you remember the famous line in the movie, "Follow the money"? With Nixon and Watergate, there was money involved. Cash money involved. Payoffs involved. There is zero. The obstruction or the effort to obstruct an investigation was through cash payoffs in Watergate. Absolutely zero money to follow here. Zero. Okay? Now, that's next. They're going to try to follow Deutsche Bank, Saudi Arabia, Arab Emirates, okay? Is that what they're called? EA, whatever they are, okay? UAE, thank you. United Arab Emirates, okay? They're going to try to follow that. They're going to try to see now if they can find money, because that's what they're missing. I'm your host, BKP. We'll be back right after these messages.